It's time for one touchdown pick for every single game. And in today's video, we're talking about the best pick of each game and then the degenerate pick for each game. That's right, we're going to have ourselves some fun. No time to waste. Let's go. Real fast, we're going to be using no big sportsbook today, so we can click into games like Vikings and the Browns and talk through all the touchdown picks. We're going to use MySparryEdge.com for odd shopping, and we'll use it for their player cards so that we can research different lines and markets. And at times, you're going to see me in the corner hanging out, just like at a party, all by myself. But I digress. The odds here are kind of wild. Jordan Mason just tanked everybody last game in Dublin. Now they're in London. We've got Minnesota staying international for 2 weeks. Cleveland flying into London this week for practice and today's game. Quinshon Judkins had another banger day. He's had 19 and 21 attempts on the ground last 2 games, 82 and 92 yards. But now we get Dillon Gabriel in a new look offense for the Browns with Joe Flacco on the bench. And I like Quinshon Judkins at plus 117. You're getting almost a 20-touch running back for a team that probably leans on the run a little bit more against a touch-and-go defense. Jordan Mason on the other side, plus 111. Listen, we've got 2 bell cow running backs. Neither of these guys are going to come off the field very much unless it's full-on pass situations where Jordan Mason would come off. But that means the Browns and Dillon Gabriel are up 2-3 scores in the second half. That's a lot of touchdown equity. 15, 20 touches out of your running back, the red zone option, and you're giving me plus odds. I think they're both decent plays. But where your bread is going to get buttered in this game, I think it's TJ Hawkinson. Said 4 red zone targets in the last 2 games with Carson Wentz. He scored a touchdown a couple games ago, and another one silently. Jalen Naylor, 4 red zone targets last 2 games and scored a touchdown last game. Plus 750, plus 726. There's some value here. Now, listen, I give you my favorite picks, and then I give you the degenerate picks. I hope you can figure out which is which here. All right, next up, let's do the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets. Interesting plays here for you. Let's get right to it. And the first one I want to talk about is not Javonte Williams, not Breece Hall, not George Pickens, but Justin Fields. We have hammered this play in 3 of his 3 starts. And guess what he's done? Rewarded us with a touchdown in every single game so far that we've bet on him. This one started at plus 230. We're still getting it at $128. Dude had 1,100 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns in his second season in the NFL. And I said this in week 1. He has to be a playmaker if he ever wants the ability to stay in the NFL because he can't throw it. So he's actually my favorite of this game, despite the fact that there are 2 running backs in here that do not have much competition. Javonte Williams is a really good play if you're looking at somebody on the Dallas side. There's nothing wrong with that. But you didn't tune in for me to tell you, take the starting running back for the team going against a bad defense at minus 115. Like, you get it. I hope you get it. If you're looking for a diamond in the rough, Dak Prescott plus 700, maybe you get a tush push, 3-yard scramble, something like that, where you get a broken play, he tucks it and run it. Plus 700 is an interesting play to me. Mason Taylor's also been getting a ton of opportunity the last couple of weeks. I think he's worth maybe a little sprinkle at plus 378. You know, the Garrett Wilsons of the world, plus 130 when you get the best wide receiver in the game. Sorry, George Pickens. And you can get him for a plus 130. Yeah, that's an interesting play to me because they're often going to be down here, plus 110, plus 113, where George Pickens is. By the way, as I am going through this video, yes, I'm going to be a degenerate. I'm going to talk player props, parlays, things like that, because I can't help myself. And if you're like, man, I wish there were more of that. Well, guess what? There is on my YouTube. Go to my feed. I did things a little different this week. I did not use my 10,000 simulations model to give the picks for the videos. I went off my head and my heart and my tummy tingles, baby. Yeah, them gut feels. That's what I led with. So that Wednesday picks video, 1 game pick for every game, straight from the gut. Friday's 1 player prop for every game, straight from the heart. Today's touchdown picks video, I can't tell you where it's from. This is a family-friendly show. Next up, Denver and Philly. Lots of touchdown players here. Let's freaking go. We got a fun one to discuss, and we're not going to jump into this saying, hey, Saquon's a great play. Listen, you understand it. Bell cow back. Great offense. Any given week can go for 2+. Okay, I've clicked his name. There, you happy? Jalen Hurts, same thing. 15 of 20 games, tush push tutties. Fine, whatever. But let's talk about the value. J.K. Dobbins left us all crying on the floor on Monday night. Should have scored, did not score. Looked great running the football. Buck 66. We played him for a 162 twice. Then the books overcorrect. They make his odds minus 130. And he tanks the entire world. And now he's back to a plus 160. He's still the same running back in the same role. A couple of running backs have already had success against these Eagles. It was also their weakness last season, even when they were winning games. I think Dobbins has a good chance of a good game here. And then what do you do with all these guys? Now, in last week's video, I said this is where the value was in that Eagles game. I said it wasn't in Saquon. It wasn't in Hurts. It was the fact that you're getting, the 1A and 1B wide receivers at plus 190, plus 250. You're getting Cortland Sutton, the only alpha on the passing game offense of the Broncos, at plus 192. These are insane odds. It's hard not to lock in Sutton, who continues to score for Bo Nix. A.J. Brown kind of threw a fuss at running 30 curl routes to close out the game. You got to wonder if they're going to want to get their alpha wide receiver, the biggest playmaker as a pass catcher, in the end zone, or at least an attempt at it this week. Plus 190 is very interesting. But then don't sleep on guys like this. Dallas Goedert, plus 346 is extremely interesting. But you know who really, really moves the needle for me? It's down here. It's Bo Nix and it's Evan Ingram. So many of these players can score a touchdown on any given day. But honestly, Nix can tuck it and run it. And Evan Ingram, you're getting a big-bodied tight end who's had success throughout his career as a pass catcher. You need his snap rate to go up a little bit, but I think there's value down here. These are just such long odds for some pretty good players. All right, Houston and Baltimore. This game would have meant a lot more if Lamar Jackson were playing at home at 1-3, but we're getting Cooper Rush. Now, I will say this. I think Cooper Rush was a great off-season pickup through free agency. A man played pretty good for the Cowboys last season. I think he can keep this team afloat. I really do. And hey, it can't get much worse. They are home underdogs in this one. There are a few players that look interesting for touchdowns. You don't need me to tell you Derrick Henry is an interesting play. The problem is you're getting text on these guys like Saquon and Derrick Henry where they're potentially a 20-touch running back with nobody in the backfield that will take them off the field inside the 10. This isn't a Dobbins and Harvey situation where you're like, I hope they keep Dobbins in. No. Derrick Henry, Saquon, they stay on the field the entire time. The value is going to be in Nico Collins against this pass defense. Pass defense giving up a wretched amount of passing yards. I already talked about Nico Collins and his long reception market and how good that one looked as he's cashed that in 3 of the last 4. Last season, I believe, 75% of the games. It was up there. And now he's going against this pass defense that can't stop a nosebleed. Yeah, Nico could get down the field in a hurry. 50-yard touchdown, cashes the long reception, probably will cash his yards at 71.5, and he would catch the plus 134 touchdown. That's a really nice play to me. I think he might even have more touchdown equity than Woody Marks and Nick Chubb, and that's reflected based on the odds. Now, Nick Chubb down here at plus 279 is an interesting play in and of itself. I think there's some value there. And then what are we doing with Mark Andrews? Isaiah Likely is coming back this week. You get Rashad Bateman. All he does is catch 50-yarders and touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins has red zone prowess. We all know this. And Cooper Rush isn't going to be a threat to score with his legs. He's going to have to throw it. So I think there's value down here with Hopkins. I think there's value here with big-bodied Mark Andrews, plus 350. If you're liking the degenerate takes, then just show me. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel and come back Sunday morning, 9 a.m. live show. I'll be live right before the London game, building out a London parlay before 9:30. And then I'll break down the rest of the NFL slate right after. We'll have another 12, 13 games to discuss. 9 a.m. right here on YouTube. Got to subscribe, like the video. Drop a comment. Tell me your favorite touchdown pick. But come back 9 a.m. I need you back 9 a.m. Sunday morning. All right. Some games I think deserve to be breezed over. Giants and Saints. These teams combined to be 1-7. Good luck figuring this one out. Scatabo probably has the highest touchdown equity, but that's reflected in the odds itself at minus 115, which are pretty good, to be honest. Jackson Dart ran one in. He could potentially do it again, plus 218. Juwan Johnson, maybe, plus 230, the best play for the Saints. I'm going to be honest, though. I want nothing else to do with it. Let's not waste our time. Raiders, Colts. We got a 48.5 point total here. Very high. Shockingly high. I think that one's a little too high. But let's get into the picks for the touchdowns. And I think right here, this is the best play in the game. Not a minus 270. I think Jonathan Taylor potentially padding the stats in this one. 2+ tutties. I think we're having a huge game from Jonathan Taylor. I think it's a big week for him. Nobody's talking about his matchup. Nobody's liking his upside. And I'm sitting here by myself saying, whoa, why? Why not? It's Jonathan Taylor. It's a 20-touch running back at home, favored with a high total. How are we overlooking this spot? 2 touches, 2 tutties, plus 220. Ooh, perfect twos, baby. Now, if you like the anytime touchdown, you're paying a premium. That's a nasty price to pay for an anytime touchdown. You're going to have to parlay it with something. Maybe, tease the Colts spread or something. I don't know. Do what you want with it. Tyler Warren's interesting, plus 156. Daniel Jones, clearly likes the guy. And why wouldn't he? He's a nice, big-bodied, athletic tight end, plus 156. You can't go wrong. But then, you've got other guys like Daniel Jones can run it in at any time. Michael Pittman, I believe, scored this past week. Jacoby Myers is having himself a decent season so far. Brock Bowers just went from 94% snap rate the last 2 weeks. Thought he was fine. And then he's been in and out of practice all week. I think missed Wednesday, was limited Thursday. So good luck figuring out if Brock Bowers is healthy enough to run routes and catch touchdowns. But if he were, then this is a steal. This is usually going to be around like a plus 150 when he's healthy. Miami and Carolina. This one's nasty. 44.5. No Tyreek Hill. Devon Achane's going to get every touch, I hope. And I think if he does, then the minus 130 is actually an interesting play for a guy who had 20 carries. Finally, 20 carries last week. And we all know he can catch the football out of the backfield, regardless of whether he did on Monday or not. The upside is there. You put Achane behind the Detroit Lions and you're having a Jahmyr Gibbs type season. He is elite. Rico Dowdle, I believe, is going to miss this game. That means Chuba Hubbard, they could probably be an absolute steal at plus 100. Those are great odds for a guy who could be looking at 15 to 20 touches and without red zone competition. After those guys, I'm really only looking at Darren Waller. Matchup's great. The Panthers are getting wrecked by tight ends, and Darren Waller, as you saw him come back, looked pretty good in a Dolphins uniform. Almost plus 300 odds for a big body tight end with red zone prowess. Give it to me. All right, we're getting into some of these marquee matchups. Bucks, Seahawks, 44.5 point total. Again, this is what I'm saying. Like, I would have thought this would have a higher total than the Raiders Colts. But what do I know? This is one of the trickier games, I think, to bet on this week. I talked about it last week. Zach Charbonnet was the red zone play, and I think we got him at plus 180 when he scored. He is the red zone option right now. In his 2 healthy games, he had 4 red zone rushes in week 1, 4 in week 4. The game that he got hurt, he had 2. So when we got him last week at a plus 180, it was a steal. And I think this week at a plus 140 just makes no sense. He has doubled Kenneth Walker's red zone opportunities in those games. Kenneth Walker, not bad at minus 101 on his own right. But man, when you're giving me a guy with double the red zone opportunities, he clearly is the red zone option, at least the preferred one for a home team that's favored. Yeah, I like this plus 140 a bunch. Rachaad White going to be the alpha and omega in the backfield this week. Should not have too much competition. He never was a very high touchdown equity type player, even when he was the full-time starter without Bucky Irving in the picture. JSN plus 128 can score from anywhere on the field, but man, he's just not going to be a high touchdown guy. I don't think he's so small. Just different player. Here is where some value is. Emeka Egbuka has scored every game. You give me that at plus 180? What, how, and why? I don't understand. This is probably the best play on the Tampa side. Yes, Chris Godwin is there, and yes, he should play a little bit more this week. Torrey Horton continues to get some red zone opportunities. I believe he looked like he dropped a touchdown this week, too. Plus 376 if you're really trying to sprinkle it deep. AJ Barner scored again, plus 459. So there are some options down here, some very degenerate options. But I think the best value right here, plus 140 for Zach, plus 180 for Emeka. Hey, and real quick, if you are like, hey, Donuts, I hear you guys got a pretty comprehensive VIP product. Yes, we do. 10,000 simulation models for NBA, NFL, MLB, a bunch of staff, moderated picks channels, parlays, write-ups, cheat sheets, lots of stuff inside Discord. And as a bonus, when you sign up using tails.bet/DFS and Donuts Picks, not only do you get access to Discord, but you can download the Tails app and get all your alerts on your phone. Just a beautiful picks feed from me. And then all the others, the bonuses, inside Discord, go check out the staff picks anytime you want. Grab that link right there. Hopefully I'll see you inside Discord. I also do exclusive Discord shows just for members. All right, back to the picks we go. Let's do it. Thanks for that little break I had. Took a sip of coffee, had a second to tell you about the VIP. We got the 0-4 Titans on the road against the Cardinals, who just are falling apart. They're missing everybody. They're down to the third and fourth string running backs, Michael Carter and Amari DiMercato, who we've seen here in Arizona uniform for the past 5 years. Kyler Murray plus 205, interesting, but right here's my play, man. Plus 158, Marvin Harrison Jr. So I just kind of alluded to it. I do this private exclusive Discord. I often do it before primetime games. And right before the primetime game, I said, hey, I like everything over for Marvin Harrison Jr. It's like an hour and a half before the game. Catch the receptions, catch the yards, catch the longest reception, and he catch the touchdown. The Titans are 0-4 for a reason. This defense does not get off the field because Cam Ward and the Titans go, quick 3 and outs, 5-6 plays, and they turn it over right away. And when you get that many extra possessions, an extra 2 or 3 possessions per game, yeah, your touchdown equity is going to increase. And we are not seeing an increase on his touchdown equity that is reflective in the odds. So plus 158 for a guy who showed last year as a rookie, 7 touchdowns through the year, scored last week again. When you've got a guy with some touchdown equity, you have no James Conner, no Trey Benson, third and fourth string running backs. Yeah, they might move the ball and throw the ball through the air the entire game in this one. I like this play a lot. And Tony Pollard continues to be a 20-touch back. If there's anybody on the Titans side, plus 125 there. Of course, Trey McBride is a fine option. He just hasn't shown red zone prowess over the last couple seasons. I mean, 3 touchdowns last year with over 100 catches. I think he has 1 this year so far, so maybe it's going to be better. All right, we got some offenses finally. Literally took me almost 45 minutes of recording to get to some offenses here, and we finally got it. So let's talk about them. First up, we'll go to the Commanders and Chargers because I want to save the Lions and Bengals. I got a really fun parlay for that one, so hold tight. Commanders, Chargers, 46.5-point total, 2.5-point spread. Highly indicative of the fact that we're getting Jaden Daniels coming back. Marion Hampton, listen, you don't need me to tell you. These 20-touch running backs with not much competition are fine options. There you go. Great analysis. Let's get to the stuff that maybe takes a little bit extra thought. Hard not to like some of these plays down here. Again, we're talking about some really solid wide receivers with a lot of touchdown equity. Keenan Allen back to plus 167 after not scoring this past week. I like it a lot. Quentin Johnson continues to be a big playmaker. And then there's Ladd McConkey. What do we do with this? Mr. 190 and a tutty in the playoffs just ain't looking good this year. Some bad drops this past week, but I am a believer in his talent. Problem is he's losing snaps out of the slot, running more snaps and routes from the outside. Last season when he started to pop off the second half of the year, primarily out of the slot. But guess who they put there? Big-bodied 33-year-old Keenan Allen. That's partially why I prefer Keenan Allen in this one over Ladd McConkey, but it's the explosion's coming. And when it comes, you're going to be happy that you ended up playing his bets. Problem is right now, Quentin Johnson's the target share leader in that ball club. These are both interesting. I think Herbert has a pretty good game here. I think the Chargers have a pretty good game here in general. Marion Hampton could go nuts. I'm a little concerned about the Commanders this week. Getting Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt or Bill at plus 256 is a very interesting play. Same with Jaden Daniels, who we all know can tuck it and run and score at any time. You saw Luke McCaffrey score plus 400 this week. Jerry McNichols had a big old run, but I don't know how much of a threat he really will be if it's not from 20 yards out. All right, Lions, Bengals. More offense, finally. 49.5, minus 10.5 point spread on the road for the Lions. Massive favorites. What do we do here? Of course, there's going to be a couple plays here that are going to be extremely juiced, but we got some ideas. Let's get to it. Jahmyr Gibbs. Hard not to like him. He's doubled the snap rate of David Montgomery. He's doubled the red zone opportunity from David Montgomery, and the upside is there for multiple touchdowns. There's a narrative this week for David Montgomery, though, about his sister. I'll let you Google that one if you're interested. This is a play that we actually did a lot last season, is we would parlay them. Simple as that. We would run them both, and they scored in like 67% of the games together. Plus 155. I don't know how much I like a pretty good red zone wide receiver. We're talking, 8, 9 touchdowns per year, 7 to 9 touchdowns per year for a minus 104. That's not bad, but I mean, hey, the same type of outcome and production from Nico Collins was a plus 130. Keenan Allen, plus 160. See what I'm saying? So for me, it's right here, man. J-Mo, 1 play away from a touchdown any given play. This man can score. Such a threat. So I like Jameson Williams the most out of the lower odds plays here, the longer odds plays. Of course, there's going to be value in guys like Laporta and Higgins, but I'm just going to settle on the better team and the big play threat on this side. Jamar Chase at plus 165. is absolutely criminal. I think if anybody scores from the Bengals, it's Jamar Chase in garbage time. My Buffalo Bills Sunday Night Football. Finally, let's do it. Bills are 7.5-point favorites at home in front of the Bills Mafia. 48.5-point total, heavy favorites, minus 380. Now, I just talked about parlaying Gibbs and Detroit, and I've done this in previous weeks with certain teams. I'm going to be honest. Got one right here that's so good, I'm going to make you wait for it. Do me a huge favor before I get to it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and come back Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern because I'm building a parlay for NFL London 9:30 game. And then I'll break down the other 12 games of the slate. 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. Got to subscribe. Turn your cell phone alarm on. Wake yourself out of bed, grab a coffee and a donut, and pull up 9 a.m. because that's when I'm going to be covering that London game. Here it is. James Cook has scored a touchdown in 15 of the 18 Bills wins for the last 2 years. Bills are favored by more than a touchdown. There's a high game total. They are heavily favored. If the Bills win, there's a really good chance James Cook is part of the reason why it happened. If you're like donuts, he can't keep scoring. Well, then I wouldn't overthink it. The other guy is going to be Josh Allen. Similarly, you could plug them in together. Or if you think I'm stupid and you think the Patriots cover, Patriots spread's a fine option. Would not run James Cook outright. Josh Allen odds are fine. Other than that, I mean, there's literally no other Bills player that I feel confident taking a pick for. You know, maybe a guy like Dalton Kincaid or Dawson Knox at plus 600, man. Same with Ty Johnson. Like, these guys have shown the ability to score. Dawson Knox, red zone equity. Ty Johnson, big play equity out of the backfield as a pass catcher. But other than that, I mean, these are all dart throws. They're all dart throws. You know, Josh Palmer, big play guy. Stephon Diggs going against Buffalo. Hunter Henry got tackled at the half-yard line this past week. He was my long touchdown call. If you're playing anybody from the Patriots side of things, this is it. It's Hunter Henry or bust for the Patriots, in my opinion. And if you just want to play the narrative game, Stephon Diggs, fine. All right, so we've got the 9 a.m. Eastern live show Sunday morning. On Monday, I'll be streaming at noon Eastern. Yes, 12 p.m. Not my normal 9 a.m. spot on Monday. I'm going to do it at 12 this coming Monday. We'll try it out. So you might want to grab that cell phone, set the alarm for 9 a.m. Eastern Sunday morning, and 12 noon Eastern on Monday. Grab that VIP link if you need it. There's a lot of cheat sheets, models, picks, parlays, notes, exclusive shows with me. By all means, give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy yourself. It's a wonderful community, wonderful people in there. I love it. Regardless, thank you for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in the morning. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, my friends. Let's get paid.